Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are talking about something where the stakes are literally life and death, working at height. We're going to dive deep into the ZPEC Health, Safety, and Environment Manual to understand the complete system, the people, the gear, and the rules, all designed for one single purpose, to make sure everyone gets home safe.
It all starts with this number, 6 feet. According to the safety standards, that's the trigger. That's the exact point where a simple task officially turns into working at height, and the risk of a serious, life-altering fall becomes something we have to manage very, very carefully.
So, the big question is, how do you stay safe up there? Well, the answer isn't just one piece of equipment or some magic rule. It's a whole system, really. A philosophy that's built on 3 core pillars: having the right people, using the right gear, and of course, following the right rules.
Okay, let's dive right in. We're starting with the 6-foot danger zone. Before we get into harnesses or anything else, we gotta understand the absolute bedrock principle of all this.
The official definition is crystal clear. Any task you're doing on a work surface that's 6 feet or more above a lower level. And you gotta pay attention to those words, any work surface. We're not just talking about massive structures here. This could be a simple platform, or even just standing on top of some equipment. If you're 6 feet up, the game changes, and these rules apply.
Now, here's something that might surprise you. The number one most important principle of working at height is to not do it. Seriously, the very first question everyone should ask before a job is, can we possibly do this from the ground? Because if the answer is yes, that is always the safest and the correct way to go.
All right, so we know rule 1 is to avoid going up if you can. But what about when it's absolutely unavoidable? Well, that brings us to the first pillar of our safety system, the right people. Because let's be real, you can have the most advanced gear in the world, but it's useless if the person using it isn't ready for the job. And this is totally non-negotiable. Being medically fit isn't just about protecting yourself, it's about protecting your entire team. I mean, think about it. A sudden dizzy spell or a bad reaction to medication when you're up high, that could be catastrophic for everybody. That's exactly why the rules are so strict about things like vertigo or being under the influence. It's an immediate no-go.
This shows you how safety is a shared responsibility, but with really clearly defined roles. The rig manager, they've got the ultimate overall accountability. Then you've got the HSE representative on the ground providing that direct supervision and doing those crucial inspections. It's a system of checks and balances, you know? It's designed to make sure nothing ever falls through the cracks.
So, what about the new folks on the job? Well, for anyone with limited experience on a particular site, there's a specific process. It's called the Short Service Employee Program, or SSE, and it's all about getting them up to speed safely and properly.
And here's the key part. This is not just a check-the-box exercise. An employee cannot graduate from the SSE program until they have successfully passed their fall protection training. It's not about just showing up. It's about proving you're competent. Your safety and the safety of everyone around you depends on it.
All right, that brings us to our second pillar, the right gear. This is your last line of defense. It's the equipment that will physically protect you from the force of a fall. It's called your personal fall arrest system.
You know, they call it a system for a reason. It's not just the harness. It's a whole chain of components, from the secure anchor point through the lifeline and connectors, all the way to the shock absorber and the harness on your body. Every single one of those pieces has to be in perfect shape for the whole thing to work. And that brings us to your personal responsibility. Before every single time you put on a harness, you are required to do a visual inspection. You're looking for anything that seems off: cuts, stretching, chemical damage, bent metal parts, anything at all. This is an absolutely non-negotiable step.
And if you do find something wrong, the rule is absolute. This quote from the manual is pretty intense. If any damaged harness found shall be destroyed immediately. It doesn't say put aside, it doesn't say send for repair, it says destroyed. That tells you exactly how seriously this is taken.
If you take away one thing about the gear, let it be this: no repairs, no exceptions. You never, ever, ever use a damaged or repaired harness. Ever. There are absolutely no exceptions. A compromised harness is a life-threatening liability, and it gets taken out of service for good.
So, we have the right people and the right gear. But that's still not enough. That leads us to our third and final pillar, the right rules. This is the framework of procedures that keeps everyone safe on the job every single time.
And the cornerstone of all these rules is the 100% tie-off policy. This is fundamental. It just means that from the moment you are exposed to a fall hazard, you are connected to an anchor point until you're back on solid ground. Now, there is one and only one very specific exception. If you're on a platform with a standard handrail system and no holes in the floor. Otherwise, you are tied off 100% of the time.
And you know, safety isn't just about the person working up high. It's about protecting everyone on the ground below. That's why a barricaded exclusion zone is mandatory to protect people from dropped objects. And the size of that zone isn't just some random number. As you can see, the higher the work, the wider that barricade needs to be. It's just simple physics, and it saves lives.
You can't control the weather, right? But you can control whether you work in it. The environment plays a massive role in safety, and any work at height has to stop immediately if these conditions pop up. We're talking thunderstorms, high winds, fog, or even just not having enough light. These are all immediate triggers to stop work. And when it comes to wind, there is no guesswork. The rule is based on a hard number. The absolute limit is 10.8 meters per second. If the wind speed gets any higher than that, all work at height stops, period. It's a black and white rule for a very good reason.
Okay, so we've covered the 3 pillars: the right people, the right gear, and the right rules. But there's one more piece that holds it all together, the thing that makes this system actually work in the real world. And that's your personal commitment.
This commitment isn't a one-time thing. It's a daily practice. It's about doing that gear inspection every single time. It's about being honest with yourself about your fitness for the job on any given day. It's about knowing the work plan, always following that 100% tie-off rule, and having the guts to stop the job if you see damaged equipment. These are the actions that keep you and your team safe.
So, after all the rules, the gear, and the procedures, what does it all come down to? This entire system is a chain, and a chain is only as strong as its weakest link, which leaves us all with a final, crucial question to think about. What is the most important link in that safety chain?